And welcome to the show. I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack, and I'm joining you today from beautiful downtown Plymouth, behind enemy lines in downtown Plymouth. I just got like this stream of consciousness for today's show. Let's bring it up. We're going to talk vaccine and vaccine mandate. The first thing I want to talk about is something that you've already been kind of aware of anyways, is that, and this is from CNN Health, is that the vaccine is waning in its effectiveness, right? Vaccine is waning in effectiveness. There we go. 2 real-world studies published Wednesday, that owed in yesterday. And you may have already heard about these studies. One was out of Israel at Sheba Medical Center. And they were produced finally in the New England Journal of Medicine, which is the gold standard for medical research. At the New England Journal of Medicine, they actually call women that are pregnant women, not just bodies with vaginas. So, like they do at the Lancet. So over here in this study in Israel, basically what they found out is that the vaccine wanes in effectiveness after about a couple of months. Which is really, really concerning. I want to get to. The study also indicated that the immunity for people who get vaccinated after natural COVID-19 infection lasts longer. Let me say this again, because it's buried a little bit deeper in the article. The study also indicated that immunity for people who get vaccinated after natural infection lasts longer. So, if you get if you get vaccinated first, your immunity wanes quicker than if you get them vaccinated after the fact. I mean, that's cray-cray, as the kids would say. I mean, that's just insane. But we're definitely looking at a situation where the vaccine is, well, Alec Berenson got banned from Twitter a short time ago. I think that was August, for saying that the vaccine was a therapeutic. But effectively, and I've said this before on the channel too. Whenever you get banned from something from Twitter, it ends up being true, say like 3 or 4 months later, anyways. But with the stream of consciousness, let's just go on to this very interesting news story out of Vermont, and this was from late last week. Now, Vermont's a really small state. Vaccination rates are really, really high. I don't know if this is a statistical blip or if this is a warning shot off the bow, but both of these things are concerning, certainly, the Israeli study and this story out of Vermont. 76% of the people who died of the virus in Vermont last month, the month of September, were fully vaccinated. Now, we're talking about really small numbers. We're talking about, not if it was you that passed away, obviously, or your family. That'd be awful. But we're talking 33 people, 25 of which were fully vaccinated. Those folks who passed away tended to be older folks. And apparently the vaccination wanes even quicker for older folks, according to this story here by VermontDailyChronicle.com. Guy Page is the author. So this is a really small number in terms of the big scope of things. And it is cautioned, there is a note, that there have been a total of 33 deaths among fully vaccinated people for the previous other 8 months of the year. So up until September, this had been basically a trace amount, and then all of September, it's the highest percentage. So whether that stays that way for October remains to be seen. If I had to guess, I would also guess that Vermont's population tends to trend to the older as compared to some other states. That's just my guess. But that doesn't seem to be bothering Pfizer or other medical companies, vaccine companies, because they're now recommending, even though their vaccine, even CNN is covering that story, is waning in effectiveness. Pfizer is now recommending that kids 5 to 11 get vaccinated. I'm sure this has nothing to do at all with the possibility that they're making any money, right? This cannot be related to money. It's follow the science. It has nothing to do with the money. Moderna's founders now debut in the list of 400 most wealthiest people in America, and I'm sure the people that are invested in Pfizer are doing fairly well. Bringing this to a local angle here in beautiful Massachusetts behind enemy lines, Turtle Boy Sports brings us this story. These are your two school administrators here in Swansea. That's over by the Rhode Island line. Let's see if we just blow this up a little bit for you. They have instituted policy in Swansea schools that if you're going to volunteer as a parent, like in the library or on a field trip or that type of thing, you must be vaccinated. And the irony of that, the irony of this, there we go, that's better. The irony of this is that there's no vaccination requirement if you're a student. There's no vaccination requirement if you're a staff member. You only have to be vaccinated if you're a parent volunteer. I mean, the insanity just never ends, And also here from Boston, I missed this the other day, but at the Red Sox-Yankees playoff game, or play-down game, or play-in game, or whatever they want to call it, we saw this.
Joe Biden! How was that racist at all? Are you fucking kidding me?
So apparently, chanting "Let's go, Brandon" is racist. Apparently, it's racist. Now, I did see this. Of course, it is. Right? Of course, it is. And that's what you're. No, I did not hear. I did go to the Patriots game on Sunday night. First Patriots game in 25 years. My son and I went, and we did not hear the chant at the Patriots game. But if I had to guess, going on this video here, these are mostly Yankee fans. They're in the really cheap seats as far as Fenway Park goes. And they look like Yankee fans. They look like some college kids having a good time. But of course, it's racist. Of course, it's racist. What else would it be? Everything is racist. Of course it is. So on the other part of the country, now that we've talked about the insanity in Massachusetts, we look to Los Angeles, which is where Massachusetts, in Boston in particular, is aspiring to become the eastern version of Los Angeles. Los Angeles will soon require to show full proof of vaccination to enter many indoor establishments. These are going to be bars, restaurants, gyms, shopping malls, entertainment venues like movie theaters, Staples Center, personal care establishments, nails, spas, hair salons, blah, blah, blah. So I was very fortunate, blessed, really, to be able to take my family to California on the big California trip in July of 2019. This is before, obviously, the whole virus thing. And we went to Dodger Stadium. We saw Paul McCartney there. We went to Venice Beach, and we had a great day at Venice Beach, like straight. It was just awesome. And, you know, my daughter got one of those little henna tattoo things, and it was just a great day. We also spent some other time in Los Angeles, went to one of the movie studio things. It was just great. And it's a bug. Hey, you know, we're shooting it live, or almost live. And it was almost like we captured California like it should be. It was just a magical vacation. And now I don't ever see myself going back to California, like at any time or really in the future. Been there, done that. And unless some of this goes away, I don't see that happening. Talking about going away, we have Dr. Wen here. Let's see what she has to say. She's promoting that we be more like Canada.
A COVID-19 vaccine mandate for anyone over the age of 12 traveling on a plane or a train. I mean, we've spoken about this idea before. I wonder what's a better strategy, playing to someone's fear, using that kind of marketing campaign we just showed, or making the vaccine a requirement for more things like travel.
Right, that should be the choice. Should we play into people's fear, or should we just make it a mandate for something that we're now learning wanes in effectiveness? I mean, that's the amazing irony. Get this vaccine because it's going to solve the problem. yet scientifically it's waning in effectiveness. Does anybody else notice this? Is it just me? I don't know.
Should the U.S. be more like Canada?
Yes, we should. We really need every tool at our disposal at this point. We've already tried incentives, we tried outreach and education. We should continue doing that. But at this point, vaccine requirements are the way to go. Vaccine requirements in workplaces, as we've seen, have been very effective. And I also
We're going to talk about this whole workplace vaccine mandate in just a second. I'm going to take another little quick of Dr. Wen here.
Right, and we've been talking about this since the very beginning of the pandemic.
Talking about this at the very beginning. She's talking about testing. So that's really weird. Why we'll have her talking a little bit more in a second, but why is the Biden administration ramping up testing now for December? That's a little weird. Let's see if she can explain
beginning,
this.
Testing was our Achilles heel, that we fell behind, and that's why the pandemic spiraled out of control. We still seem to have not learned this lesson versus other countries have. Singapore and Japan, they have ubiquitous vending machines to give tests. You can go to the UK and you can get tests anytime you want, and enough to get testing twice a week if you want for every family. That's what we need to.
But if the vaccine works, why would you need it? All right, that brings us to my favorite article and our last article of the day, and that is by the very observant Joy Pullman over at the Federalist. Joe Biden's vaccine mandate doesn't exist. It's just a press release. And so what she's saying here, it's kind of a sophisticated argument, way to go, Joy, is that Biden hasn't actually gone through the administrative procedure of filing the 100-employee vaccine mandate requirement through OSHA. According to Joy, you have to first file that in the Federal Register, and then from there, it would take another 6 months to put into effect. He hasn't filed it in the Federal Register, and it's been, I'm just going to say several weeks since the press conference where he announced it. And the reason why he hasn't done that yet is because it's a paper tiger. If you don't file it, you can't challenge it, and he doesn't want it to be challenged. See? Wow, that's varsity level right there. If you file your order, then it can be challenged. But if you don't file it and just everyone assumes it's a law or a dictate or whatever it is, an emergency standard, then everyone just goes along anyways. And it's providing cover. You know, if the company says, well, this is what the federal government has ordered, it's a pretty sophisticated argument to get across that actually the government hasn't ordered it. And in fact, the government hasn't ordered it. And we've seen this with the eviction moratorium. Remember, he basically put in the eviction moratorium to buy time. He admitted that it was probably not legal, but he was just putting it in to buy time because it was going to take a long time to litigate. And here he's basically not filing it because he doesn't want to give people in attorney generals throughout Republican states across the country the opportunity to litigate it. It's a really excellent article. You should read this by Joy Pullman. We're not going to go into the details of it, but effectively, he hasn't put it in because he doesn't want anybody to challenge it. And it's very difficult to challenge a press conference in court. And if there's nothing actually filed, then there's nothing actually to file suit against. So that's actually my stream of consciousness for today. Thank you for joining us. And I'm John Gately. You can call me Jack from Plymouth, Massachusetts, behind enemy lines. Have a great day.